Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This is our next in our long running series of Kitbash showcases here on the channel. And these, if you haven't seen one before, is just where I kind of do a little deep dive and I take you guys through a particular Kitbash that I've made, what the parts were used to make it, why it was made, how it does in game, all that kind of good stuff. So here we have perhaps one that gets a little bit lost in the sea of average Joe Kroot Kitbashes, but one that I'm actually pretty happy with overall. These are my Kroot Pathfinders. So this is actually one of the first Kitbashes for my all Kroot army. Of course, my original all Kroot army was played or is played as Tau. It's a Tau army, so everything that goes into that is playable in a Tau list. And so I believe how this all started was I actually got a brand new on sprue set of Tau Pathfinders for a really good price off of, I think it was Facebook Marketplace, maybe it was Kijiji, but it was kind of funny. It clearly was it looked like a family that had quite a lot of money. And the mom had basically I think it was like something you see on, on like a meme or whatever, where her kid or whatever was like, "Hey mom, I want, such and such Warhammer for my birthday," and I think she just went and bought the first Warhammer thing she saw, and anyway, so it wasn't at all what he wanted, so she was literally just like giving it away, just getting rid of it and buying him new stuff. Um, so that was cool. So because it was one of those things where like I didn't really have a clear plan for the army. I didn't know exactly what units I wanted and which ones I didn't. So I was just kind of looking for good deals on stuff, and whatever I happened to find, that's what I bought, and that would make it work. And so I got these Pathfinders. And so what I actually did was I only wanted a squad of 5, even though of course there's 10 in the kit plus some drones and whatever. And so if you can see looking at these guys, and I'll show them in a minute, 5 of them are kind of more like they're better kit bashed, there's more love and care put into them, and the other 5 don't really matter. And the reason for that is because I only actually wanted 5, and then the other parts were just going to be used for spare parts. And then I think it was the Tau Codex came out, and so I made the 5 Pathfinders with some love and care, and then I just kind of slapped the other 5 together with some crew, and those were just like my 5 fire warriors that I just sent to their death every game, just so that I could play the game a little bit better and have an extra unit of troops. 10th or 9th edition comes around, new codex comes out, and they say nope, you can only take fire warriors in a squad of 10, and same with Pathfinders. So I was like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? And then I was like, oh wait, I can just throw those 5 crappy fire warriors in with my Pathfinders, and then they can just be a unit of 10 Pathfinders, and that's fine. So what I will show here, I'll just start going through, is so the original 5 are these 5 in the front, so never mind those crappy looking dudes in the back. So starting here, let's pull them forward a little bit. So this was like the leader guy. I forget what the leader of a Pathfinder squad is called again, but basically, so what this guy is, so he is the Pathfinder torso and legs and arms. And what's kind of cool is, so the Kroot kit, as I've said many times, is a really good kit considering how old it is. It's pretty cool, it's got a lot of options. The one thing that's a bit of a drag back is that the legs are very limited in their poses. You only get kind of two versions of just like walking forward legs. If you combine their lower legs with the upper legs of some other models, like a Tau model, you can get some really interesting poses all of a sudden. So with this guy, you combine it with this Pathfinder legs, and you can get this kind of cool, stepping up on a rock pose or whatever. It also, like, it kind of, I wanted these guys to kind of look like special ops, like they're kind of like tactical. Of course, my Kroot, the lore is that they are stealing tech from the Tau to then fight against the Tau. And so this guy, and maybe these guys ate too much Tau, and that's why their hands aren't particularly Krooty anymore. So that is the body and the arms. I believe his left arm there that's holding the binoculars. I think there's a little bit of green stuff going on there on his shoulder just to get it in that pose. And so then, because I'm such a firm believer in like not wasting parts and also not like spending money unnecessarily on kit bashes, so I think for this guy I had run out of Kroot heads at this point, and so what this is actually, this is a Kroot skull from the skull kit, and I just wrapped it in this hood, and then you can't really tell that it's a skull, and it just looks like a normal Kroot head. And I was able to do this cool pose, like he's looking through the binoculars. I think, like I said, my greens, this is an old Kitbash. My green stuff work isn't perfect, I mean, it still isn't perfect, even close to. But for what he is, I think he turned out pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with him. He looks like he's, you know, sneaking through the jungle. He's looking through his binoculars, picking out his target. So I like him quite a bit. So I'll put him to the side. And so continuing with that theme of like never wasting money and using every part and whatever. So two of the guys in here. So start with this guy. You're like, Lieutenant Dan, you ain't got no legs. Where'd your legs go? So maybe it's not super clear with my paint job, but I wanted it to look like he was like sunk down in the muck, like he's standing in the muck. And the reason is because I had run out of Kroot legs at this point. And so I just chopped the Tau Pathfinder legs out and tried to make it look like he was standing in the muck. He's, you know, they're sneaking through the swamp or whatever. Again, just parts from the Tau Pathfinder kit. Got this cool little, you know, tracker sensor thing he's holding, and then this head, as a bunch of these heads are, these are 3D prints from Felix the Crazy. He's got all kinds of cool, unique Kroot heads like this. He's got ones that are in like gas masks and stuff. And so yeah, I've got some heads printed a while back or whatever, and so I was just still working my way through all those. So we've got this guy, and then now like this is from the start, like when I got the Tau Pathfinder kit, of course I'm going to give them the epic big rail rifles because they're cool and very unique. So we've got this gentleman here, so kind of the same deal as that other guy. Again, meant to look like he's standing down there in the muck. He's sunk down a little bit. They're Kroot, they don't care, they're hardy jungle folk. And yeah, so then again, it's just Tau Pathfinder parts with the 3D printed head on top. Move on off to the side. Now these two are my favorite. I think they look really cool. Again, so this is just more, this is like a full Kroot body, but with, full Kroot legs with the Pathfinder body and arms. The thing is, and you'll see this with these other guys because I'll show them briefly, if you're going to use the Tau arms, you should really use the Tau torso as well, just because the arms like have sleeves and have shoulder guards, and it kind of looks a bit janky if you use the Kroot torso with them, and that would go with any Kroot Kitbashes that you're doing. But so yeah, again, my green stuff not so good, but it just kind of wrapped some cord or whatever around the end of his gun, made him look a little more tactical. And I just really like the look of the rail rifles. I think they look they're a very unique and cool looking weapon. This guy here is probably my favorite, and I think this was probably the first one I did. Usually the first model in a Kitbash unit is usually my best because I put the most work and effort into them. So again, here we're using the Pathfinder legs to get a more interesting pose. You can see there, he's kind of, again, he's like kind of stepping up onto a rock there. I used some green stuff to make some cool little, you know, coiled metal things around his legs. Like the Kroot models usually have those on their wrists. So I just put those on there because I thought they looked cool. And he's holding the rail rifle. I think I did an all-right job painting it, making it look all glowy like that. It is almost, I'm noticing the video is almost looking too bright. That might be slightly better. I turn it down. And then I was really proud of myself. This is the first time I tried to green stuff like a bionic eye. And so that little eye there is green stuff by me. That's not a 3D print. I mean, I'm sure you can tell it's not that great, but I thought it turned out pretty cool. I thought it looked pretty cool. So I really like this guy. He looks like that really cool, you know, special forces sci-fi Kroot operative. So I liked him a lot. Move him out of the way. And then, yeah, so if I bring up some of these guys, you can see what I mean when I say a lot less love and effort was put into these. So again, they're literally just the Pathfinder arms on Kroot bodies. I think this guy's the only one with a 3D printed head. Oh, I guess I gave him the torso, but most of them don't even have the torso. This is just, again, like, this is how I want to use every part in every model, and I want to get the absolute most out of all my bits. So some kit bashes I do are like this. They're just like a way to use all the extra parts that I have and just enough, to make the unit work and make it playable and look okay. But I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time and effort on them like I would some other things. The drones that come with the kit, I got one of them here. I'm not sure. I always forget which drones are which, so I'm actually not sure where the other ones are. I didn't do anything with the drones. And some people are like, "Oh, you should." I'm realizing his gun thing is not out. Okay, there we go. Some people are like, "Oh, you could make like this creature or this creature into drones." It's a real it's part of the challenge and it's part of the fun of kit bashing for me. Every kit bash I do, I want it to, as much as possible, look like the thing would fit the rules. So if I was to make like I can't think of something off the top of my head, but let's say some kind of like cool like flying, raptor bird creature to represent drones. Well, that would look like that thing should be able to do some melee. It should look like it should be able to do some fighting. But of course it can't because it's a drone and drones can't fight. And most drones have a gun. So then I gotta try to like strap a gun to this little flying creature. I guess maybe I could say that it like spits acid or something, but then that's just getting a little bit far because then like the range on those guns is usually pretty far. That's a really long way to be spitting a little bit of acid. So I prefer to just use the real drones for this army, and it's basically because like in this situation, um, like my crew have the moral high ground in this war against the Tau. Like they're in the right, and the drones have their own AI and personality and whatever, and they're also a machine, so they can be hacked. So it can either be that the crew figured out how to hack them and took them that way, or it could even be that there was a little bit of an AI uprising. The drones weren't very happy with how the Kroot were being treated by the Tau, and some of them actually switched sides and took sides with the Kroot, which I think would be pretty cool. So, other than making some of them look a little bit banged up, I have never really bothered to kit bash the drones for this army too much. There's also not very many of them. I think there's like 10 in total for the whole army that I've done. But yeah, that's just kind of my reasoning. And if you're ever wondering, well, why are all the drones just like normal in the Kroot army? That is why. So I knew this video was going to be a little bit of a quick one because these guys aren't that elaborately kit bashed. They're not something big and crazy like my town art, whatever. So what I was going to do is here at the end, and you would have seen it in the thumbnail. I'm assuming that's what I did. I was just going to take a minute to show off another model from this army that's not really a kit bash, but it is something cool that a lot of people have liked. So, again, this is another kind of OG model from the army. Move this stuff out of the way. So this is one of two Kroot Broadsides. And so as I said, this is not a kit bash. What this is a 3D print. This is a 3D print from Felix the Crazy. He is the guy that makes all of the awesome Kroot parts. You can either get most of the files are for free and you can just download them and use them as you like. And then you can also buy the models directly from him and he will print them up for you. So this is one of his first models, and I think it's just such a cool and fun piece. We've got some sort of a different Narlock type beast here being ridden by a couple Kroot, and they've obviously like jury rigged a bunch of missiles to it. And yeah, so I just wanted to show that off real quick because I think this is a pretty cool model, and if you're wanting to do an all Kroot army, sometimes it can be tough to find enough models to represent all of the different battle suits and whatever. And so this is what I've done for those just because I really liked it. I thought they looked cool. So I have two of these guys in my army. And yeah, I just wanted to show this off. You can see all the wires and cables wrapped around everything. It's kind of that fun size of model to paint where it's not too big and not too small. Decent amount of detail.
different textures and such. But yeah, so if you're trying to do an all Kroot army, or you just want to add some flavor to your Tau army, just letting you know that these are available. Just look up Felix the Crazy, or Master Shaper Felix. I think it comes up either way, but just look that up on Google and go to either his cults 3D page or whatever, and you'll be able to find the files and stuff. Or go to his Frank, what's it called? His Etsy store. Etsy? I forget the name of the store. I'll throw it up on the screen right now. But yeah, the name of his store, you can he'll print it for you, or you can just get the file yourself. But yeah, I just wanted to show off this other cool model here at the end, and just to, you know, I like to shine a little spotlight on creators that I'm really impressed with, and he's always been a favorite of mine. So yeah, that's about it for the end of this video. I'm trying to put out more videos lately. I'm trying to get a little bit more on that YouTuber bandwagon, and produce a little bit more content, a little bit better content. So feel free, if you haven't already, to like, subscribe, all that jazz. And if you'd like to see upcoming kit bashes from me, some new stuff that I'm working on, which I can literally just, I could give you guys a little sneak peek. Let me just go past all my kids' books and stuff up here. Oh, what is that up here? Nope, that's all you get to see. There's tons of work in progress stuff in the works. So if you'd like to see that, feel free to check out my Patreon. It's only $1, and helps support the channel, and that's where I throw up all my work in progress stuff, and I also you know, do little giveaways and all that other junk. So thanks for watching as always, either way, and I'll see you guys next time.